I have been cultivating Phelan Dafa for more than 20 years and have gradually reached a state of enlightenment. My thoughts are connected with my bodies in other dimensions, which means that I can travel through different times and spaces. I am writing down what I saw when I traveled to a world in another dimension. A local practitioner has been collaborating with me on Dafa projects. However, due to his tight work schedule and the birth of his child, he slacked off in cultivation and started to have very bad asthma symptoms. I invited him over to my apartment, and for several days in a row, we studied Master's teachings and did the exercises together. I helped him search inside himself. His symptoms improved, but did not go away completely. After he fell asleep one night, I continued sending forth righteous thoughts. In a tranquil state, I could see his past lives. During a time in prehistory, he was the sea god, the same one described in Western mythology. He was the king of the oceans. The statues under the oceans were of mermen holding tridents. The offerings they displayed in front of their sea god were large white pearls inside shells. As I was observing the pearls, the ocean water suddenly lit up, and I could see shiny particles lining up, leading me towards a gate to another dimension. In the other dimension there were 3 suns in the sky. When the temperature rose, the suns merged into one that radiated gentle, warm light. There was a huge island in the middle of the ocean with tropical forests. The cliffs were very steep, and gigantic dragon-like animals were flying among the cliffs and over the ocean. Their colorful bodies were covered with small scales, but they had big wings and long tails. When they saw me, they sent out loud cries. Carrying armored knights, they flew just above the water in front of me as my guide. As we approached land, different varieties of birds accompanied us. Big sailboats were harbored in the port. Human-like beings were busy with their work. Some wore clothes that resembled those in ancient Western society. Their hair was blonde or red. I flew with 9 huge dragon-like animals and their knights, and saw high mountains, large rivers, expansive forests, vast grasslands, and different kinds of animals. Running on the grasslands were white horses followed by beings that were half human and half horse. They were light brown. The males were muscular and wore light helmets. They carried bows and arrows and javelins. The females also wore armor and carried daggers. To cross the wide rivers, they simply jumped over, while the horses flew over. I also saw several prosperous cities and towns. The people wore garments that resembled the Bohemian style in Central Europe. The adult males were clothed in white fabric, with olive branches on their head that represented their social status. Females were dressed in red and gold, and they pulled their hair up. Young girls had their hair down and decorated with white lilies. The knights took me to a group of buildings made of white jade stones. Different colored roses were blooming, and the air was filled with a pleasant fragrance. There were huge white pillars decorated with gold engravings in the main lobby. The ceilings were decorated in the same style. A rectangular water fountain took me through the main lobby to the golden royal throne. I saw white pearls on top of the water fountain. By the royal throne were 12 smaller seats. The furnishings were exceptionally rich and luxurious, but the vast palace was empty and quiet. Outside there were a variety of landscapes with flowers and trees, as well as different architectural structures. I came to a round white building called the Crystal Palace, which was surrounded by many pillars. The inside of the palace was all crystals. The ceilings were transparent, and inlaid in the floor was a huge red rose in full bloom. Sitting south and facing north was a tall portrait of my fellow practitioner, opening up a Falun Gong banner in Tiananmen Square. He had a calm smile on his face and his eyes looked firm and fearless. Hanging on the walls of the palace were portraits of this practitioner's different images in his different lifetimes. One of the pictures showed him as the sea god holding a trident. Light shone down on me in the center of the hall from the transparent dome. Suddenly, stars, galaxies and celestial bodies appeared in the center of the hall around me, as if I had entered the vast universe. In the center of the celestial body was a tiny galaxy surrounded by golden light, that was the small universe of our planet Earth. Outside the Crystal Palace, a large number of divine warriors in several groups in close formation assembled in the vast grasslands. The divine warriors were dressed in leather armor, helmets, and boots, like those of ancient Rome. In front were 9 dragon knights with huge dragon beasts by their sides, followed by warriors holding large shields, javelins, daggers, and other types of weapons. On either side of the assembled warriors were 2 knights on divine horses with bears in front of them and centaurs behind them. A man wearing a golden olive branch came to me. Placing his right hand on his chest, he greeted me. "Dear F-rectifying Dafa disciple, thank you for coming to our Rose country, and thank you for helping our king, your fellow practitioner. We hope you will convey our thoughts to him, our great king, and tell him that we miss him dearly. Please take this letter to him. And please accept our most heartfelt gratitude." Respectfully, I took the scroll sealed with a red rose insignia. The man retreated into the assembly, and the divine warriors once again bowed to me. The warriors then began to pound out a rhythm with their swords and shields. The booming sound was like human heartbeats or brave soldiers shouting in the battlefield. The warriors' eyes had a firm and fearless look, which reminded me of how my fellow practitioner looked when he stood in Tiananmen Square with the banner in his hands. Accompanied by the beat of their weapons, the warriors began to sing this hymn. When the decadent world is about to overturn, when dark clouds cover the light, you, my great king, inspired by the Creator, march on rugged roads in the snow, break through the dark fog, waving your sword, cutting down the evil demons. When the sad life is about to pass away, when the flowers are about to die, you, my great king, inspired by the Creator, stride down the road of death and destruction, in the cold, eradicating the endless haze, opening the clouds, bringing the hope of life. Gradually, the heavenly scene started to blur and the sounds faded. For a long time, my heart was racing and I could not calm down. Coming out of tranquility, I shared with my fellow practitioner what I'd experienced in the kingdom of the Rose country. I relayed to him what I had read on the scroll. The letter said, "Dear Honorable King, you have left us and lived in the secular world for billions of years. We all miss you dearly. Although we cannot be with you, our love for you has not changed, but has only grown deeper. My king, you are the mightiest because you dared to sacrifice yourself to safeguard justice for the universe. You are the most honorable because you have drained yourself for the everlasting happiness of our world. As the universe is emerging from the old, you have worked endlessly to save our world and our lives. We will live and die with you till the end. With love, your heavenly family." My fellow practitioner's eyes filled with tears. He regretted not cultivating diligently. Ever since then, we've helped each other to follow Master's teachings and cultivated together. He soon broke through the old forces arrangements and returned to cultivating diligently. Master has given us life, and he has also endured and suffered hardships and endless karma for Dafa disciples. The divine beings in heaven have put their hopes and very lives in our hands. What have we done for or contributed to all living beings in heaven and earth? It is a question worth pondering.